in a way where we are taking the movements a little slower, a little more controlled. Movement is going to match the breath, and we're going to take our time. So if you feel comfortable back on your back with legs fully extended down the mat, feel free to find that shape. If you think you might feel better with bent knees, resting on your back, that works too. Just take your time here. And just like always, if you want to set up some music, if you haven't already done that, take your time to get that and your space nice and cozy as well. So as we start to open today's practice, I want you to just take your time to become connected with that breath. Let the breath that's coming in the body move nice and slow, nice and easy and controlled. Let the breath that leaves the body leave your body feeling softer, lighter, more open. Today's opening intention, our reading, is going to come from the book, A Year of Living Your Yoga. Attachment is what arises when we don't get our preference. April 29th. Attachment is what arises in us when we don't get our preference. We all have preferences. The blue shirt over the red, tea instead of coffee, yoga over wrestling. Preferences do not limit our life. What limits it is the feeling that arises when we don't get our way. This feeling is attachment, which constricts enjoyment. Today, when the feeling of attachment arises, notice it and consciously let it go. What happened? Attachment is what arises in us when we don't get our preference. The feeling is attachment, which constricts our enjoyment. Allowing the body to get nice and long. If you've had bent knees, let's go ahead and see if we can straighten those legs so that they move long down the mat. Arms can be gentle off to the sides of the body, or you might even choose to add length through your arms, stretching up towards the top edges of your mat. It could feel good to point and flex your toes or roll around the ankles. Maybe let the back of the head lay on the floor, but shift the nose right and left from side to side. All right, as the body starts to feel like it's ready for a little more movement, we'll take our time to walk feet up so that they lay themselves in a position just behind the glutes. Knees are bent, pointed up towards the ceiling, and we'll bring our hands on either sides of the hips, turning the palms so that they face the earth. As you inhale, keep your tail on the ground, but allow your belly to expand and lift towards the ceiling. As you exhale, the low back just kisses into the earth. So these are just kind of a gentle way to warm up the spine. We're not lifting into a full bridge. We're just playing around with a little bit of cat-cow tilt to the lowest part of the spine. And making some nice full connection with that breath. If you feel comfortable enough to close the eyes, feel free to do that. Let everything become a little softer. Continuing to breathe, maybe even using that exhale as you force it out through the mouth. All right, relaxing the spine to something more neutral. When you feel ready, the breath lifts the hips this time up off the earth. Now you would be able to slide your hand under your back just to kind of feel that there's space there between the glutes and the earth. The head again is nice and angled towards the ceiling. The shoulders are relaxed. Fingertips pointing down towards the toes, knees are about hip distance apart. You're active in your legs, you're active in your glutes, but nothing's clenched. Everything kind of has a little bit of ease to it. Beautiful work. Of those of you that I can see, that looks great. Take your time to lift heels up off the ground and then just ease your way down towards the mat. Last thing to hit the mat again is going to be those heels. Let your right knee stay standing towards the ceiling. Let the left knee fall out and open to the side. A half recline bound angle. Hands come to rest on belly or heart. Just ease and allow this hip to open slowly. It might feel nice with that right knee that is bent to go ahead and slide that all the way down the mat so you look like you're doing tree pose reclined on your back. It might even feel nice to reach the right hand up over the head, let it extend away from the foot, kind of reaching in the opposite direction of those toes. From here, go ahead and add your left arm to match your right, both hands extended up over the head. But you're gonna lift head, neck, and shoulders towards the ceiling and then slightly off towards the left edge of your mat. Another side body stretch here that's gonna feel nice, hopefully, all down that right side, maybe even into that right hip flexor. Perfect work. Head, neck, and shoulders take its time, moves back towards center. Slide these hands down towards the heart. You're gonna stand up this left knee towards the ceiling just for a moment, and then just kind of roll towards that right side. Arms might go to T or cactus as this left knee just kind of rolls over the body. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way to the earth. In fact, I'm pretty close to the wall, so I don't have a lot of space, but I'm letting this side body just have a little bit more tension. It's just an easy twist to kind of open things up this morning. And then we'll just start to walk this back to center. If you need to reach down with your right hand to throw that left knee back into the middle of the mat, fine. Walk the right knee up. We'll keep the left knee standing towards the ceiling this time. And let the right knee fall out and open to the side. So taking just a moment in that half bound angle, maybe hands resting on hand on heart, hand on belly. And then maybe it feels good to extend this leg long, just as you did before, letting your body look like tree pose, again, resting on the ground. The leg that's fully extended, that left leg, maybe your left arm starts to reach up and over the head, adding a little extension first before we add that side body stretch. Letting go. Stretching this right hand up to meet the left hand, both arms above the head, neck, shoulders. Add that little lift, and then start reaching over towards the right edge of your mat. Bending elbows if you run out of space, or if you just feel too tight through the shoulders. Always listening to the body. Letting yourself experience kind of this waving tree pose, but without having to mess with the struggle of balance right here on the earth. Head, neck, and shoulders start to lift, arms to the sky, bring that back to center, and then you might reach down, right hand to right knee, stand that right knee up, and then just let it move over and across to the left side of the body. Arms can take T or cactus, or whatever version feels best to you. Excellent work. Just take your time using the breath, maybe helpful little pushes from the hands to bring knees back to center. We'll settle in for one more bridge pose. Heels walking as close to the glutes as you might need it. Hands resting on either side. Big inhale or exhale, whichever pattern feels best in your own body, lifts us up off the earth. Allowing this front side body to feel nice and long, hands supporting on the earth, head is nice and relaxed on the ground. And then a nice full lift of those heels up off the ground, and then we're lowering back down, one vertebra at a time. Right knee comes into chest, left knee joins it, and then just rock a little bit side to side. Option to roll to your right or left and use the floor to bring you to seat, or you can rock and roll here a little bit until you're up to your seat. Once you find your seat, sit nice and tall, whether there's a block put under your seat or a blanket. Hands might reach out to the edges of the mat, spine nice and tall. Let your right ear move towards your right shoulder. Inhale, breath, head comes back up over spine, let it go the other way. Inhale, breath, head comes back up over spine, right ear to right shoulder, right hand maybe reaches, puts a little gentle pressure on the top of the head. Inhale, breath, head over spine, then let it go the other way. Inhale, breath, head up over spine. And then we're just gonna take our time to walk both hands out in front of us. Use your exhale as you hinge right across these hip creases of the lap and walk your hands a little bit more forward. Keeping the spine nice and long. Perfect. Use that inhale breath to walk the hands back up or slide them up the mat. And then just exhale to release. All right, let's look for tabletop pose. If you'd like to put a blanket underneath your knees, depending on what kind of surface you're practicing on at home, feel free to reach for anything that's gonna make you feel a little more comfortable. If you've got carpet or something underneath of you and you don't need that, that's fine too. Wrists under shoulders, knees under your hips, starting to look for that long extended spine, crown of the head pulling up the mat, tail going towards that wall behind you. Looks good. Belly drops down towards the earth, chin lifts, tail lifts. Exhale, breath, round the back, round the spine. Take your time, just a few more rounds of this easy movement. Two more. As you finish up that familiar cat spine, go ahead and sit the hips back onto your heels. Let your hands extend forward up the mat. Spine is nice and long. Forehead might fall all the way down into the ground. Hips might sit all the way on the heels, or you might be in some place in between there. Maybe even a puppy pose looks good. Your toes curl under. You walk your hands more forward rather than taking your hips backwards. And you get a deeper stretch for the upper part of your back. Use that next natural inhale to bring yourself back up to that tabletop shape. Right foot is going to extend nice and long behind the back. Point the toes down towards the earth and hold. As you exhale, you're going to bend this knee up, or foot up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, bring the toes back down. Last one. Little pulse here with the foot up towards the ceiling. Feeling a little bit of activation in where the thigh and the glute meet. You got one more in you. Perfect. Foot extends long, and now we're going to stretch. We've got the right leg long, step towards the left edge of your mat. Start to look over your left shoulder, back towards those toes. Nice. Stretch long of that side body. Perfect. Start to bring that foot back to the middle of the mat. We're going to keep the toes still curled under, hands shoulder distance apart. Lift yourself into what looks like a half down dog. So you've got the right leg nice and long, pushing through that heel, but the left knee is bent. And you're getting lots of extension for that backside body, as much as possible, still looking like an upside down V. Take yourself back, find your knees. Hips sit back, child's pose, 2 breaths. Next natural inhale brings you back to that same table. This time, left foot extends long behind. Flex toes down towards earth, nice natural extension of that leg. Exhale, breath bends the knee, flex the foot. Inhale, breath brings this right back down. Gaze is towards the floor, several inches in front of your fingers. Your spine is nice and long. Trying our best not to round through the chin, bringing that to the chest, or kinking the neck to strain to look forward at your screen. Just trust my voice and continue to breathe. The next time that knee bends, you've got a flexed foot. Just give yourself a little pulsing here. Again, allowing the gaze to be just a couple inches in front of those fingers. Try your best not to strain your neck. All right, perfect. Finish out that last one. Foot goes nice and long behind you, and then it's going to step towards the right edge of your mat. Look over that opposite shoulder this time. Get that same C curve shape of the spine. Really letting that outside edge, the hip, the side body, all the ligaments around the pelvis, just getting an opportunity to open slowly. Perfect. As you feel ready, bring this foot back to the middle of the mat. Toes curl under. When you feel ready, hips lift up, half down dog again. This time, left leg is the one who gets to be nice and long. Drop your knees back down to ground. Except for this time, put yourself in table. Right hand moves directly underneath your face. Inhale breath, left hand reaches up towards the ceiling, adding a little twist. Exhale, bring that left hand down. Let it replace your right hand in the middle of your mat. Open this time with right arm. Taking your time, right hand returns back to earth. Child's pose, hips sit back onto heels, long extension through those arms. Really fully releasing the belly down onto the tops of the thighs, or if you want to broaden, widen the knees here a little bit, let the belly fall through the middle, feel free. From here, we're going to drop the forearms down into the mat. Take your knees so that they're about hip distance apart. Hands are in 2 straight lines up your mat. Forearms, elbows, all of that on the earth. Start to curl the toes under and lift for a dolphin pose. Dolphin looks like downward facing dog. However, my forearms and hands are on the earth. My gaze is back towards my toes. Big openers for my upper back. Lots of strengthening happening here. If you feel like you want a little bit of movement, you can of course shift your dolphin to a dolphin plank. Or just hold the pose. Knowing that if at any time the knees want to drop to the ground and you want to take this in a gentler version, it's always there waiting. Give yourself one more breath in whatever pose you've chosen. And then knees drop to ground. Hands are going to move back towards your heels. Release. So you have two options. Palms can be flipped towards the ceiling. Backs of the hands rest on the floor on either sides of your feet. Or you might choose to curl your toes under a little bit here. Start to reach your hands back to see if they can make connection with the outer edges of your feet, and maybe even roll onto the top of your head. Rabbit pose. Those who have been in rabbit, relax the hands, the toes, roll off the top of your head, and just rest into more of a basic child's pose for about 3 breaths. Taking your time, start to move with your breath back up towards table. Cat-cows again, just to make sure our breath is fluid. And then when you feel ready, finishing out that last cat-cow, we'll just curl toes, shift hips, traditional downward facing dog. Gaze back towards those toes, spine is nice and long. Maybe you need to move around here a little bit, bend the knees, walk out the feet, angling things around. And then when you feel ready, the feet are going to start to move themselves up towards your hands, shifting to make the shape of a forward fold. Crown of the head is down towards the earth. Everything is heavy and loose through the middle. And then as you feel ready, we'll plant the feet into the earth, nice and strong, big inhale breath. Sweep the hands up towards the ceiling. Let them come down and rest at the heart. Mountain pose. Building your mountain from your feet up. So grounded through all 10 toes, arches of the feet, heels, ankles, quads, hips, spine, shoulders. Perfect. Inhale, breath brings hands up above the head. Let them stay connected together in kind of a extended mountain pose. And then exhale, keeping the hands palm to palm, slide them down the front of your body, bending the knees, forward fold. Keep the hands connected. Inhale, breath all the way back up. Exhale, breath, repeat that. Keep the palms glued together. Inhale, bring them all the way up. Last one, keep those palms glued together. Inhale, bring them all the way up. Exhale, chair pose. Keep the palms glued. Bring them slightly out in front of you. Let them be connected. Maybe even overlapping at the thumbs. Exhale, breath, fold to the earth, hands come apart. Halfway up, hands to shins, long spine. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps to the back of the mat. Keep the right knee lifted just for a moment. Really sink into a nice big runner's lunge. Then when you feel ready, that right knee is going to move towards the earth. Left hand is going to sweep up towards the ceiling. Chest turns towards that left knee, twisting. Sweeping this left hand back down, let it find the ground. Toenails on the back foot, if balance feels okay, flatten to the ground. Inhale, sweep both up. Whoa. Staying in this shape, we're going to drop this left hand. Right hand stays lifted. Reach the right hand up and then slightly over to the left side. Remember, we can always come off that front knee if the shape feels too big. Or sink in a little more to that front knee if the shape feels like it needs a little more, a little deeper. Easing both hands back up. Exhale down. Walk the hands back your mat, straightening front leg, lifting toes towards the ceiling. And then we'll switch. Foot moves its way to the back of the mat. We're going to go to down dog in between. So lift the hips up. Walk it out. And then as you feel ready, feet move their way to hands again. Hopping, leaping, crawling, tiptoeing, halfway up with a long spine. Back towards earth. Reach those hands up. Let your palms connect again. Create that extended mountain pose. Exhale, sit back into that same chair. Hands extending out from the shoulders, connecting palm to palm. As you feel ready, release the hands, fold into that forward fold, hands on either sides of the legs. Inhale to come up halfway, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. This time, the left foot steps back. Runner's lunge, just as you did before, keeping good alignment with this front knee and ankle. Walk those toes out from underneath of you so that you can get the lines you're looking for. Back knee drops, left hand stays on the floor, right hand starts to swing forward and up, turning the palm to face in the same direction as your chest. As your chest turns towards that right knee. Taking your time, lifted hand moves down towards earth, toenails on the back foot flatten, both hands reach up. Right hand takes its time, falls down to the side, as left hand stays tall, starts to reach over the side body, looking for that right wall or the right side of your mat. Remembering you can sink further into the front knee, or you can come off, depending what feels best to you. Hands coming back to center, maybe both lifting before we fold them down, your choice. And then we just kind of start walking those hands back a little bit here as we flex the toes back towards us, counter pose. And you can, of course, play around with this front foot, pointing and flexing. All right, from here, we're gonna try something a little different. So we're gonna put this front foot back onto the ground, but then I want you to bring this knee back, put your knees together, and then you're just gonna crawl on your mat until you're now sideways. So you're still on your knees, maybe even coming up to high knees, bringing the hands down to your heart. Now, if you can't see me, that's all right. Just listen to my voice. I just wanted us to have a little bit more space here because we're going to take some gate poses to bring our leg out to the side. So if it feels okay, hands are going to just move down towards the ground. You're going to extend your right foot out towards the side. Toes might be flexed. I know you can't really see my whole foot. I need about an extra 3 inches behind me. All right, and then when you feel ready, these hands are going to move up towards the ceiling. Now adjust this hip. If something starts to kink here, your foot may need to be slightly forward or slightly out of that hip. Find the sweet spot. I just gave myself the wrong spot. Hands are up tall, and then just start to fall in to that right leg. This opposite arm can always drop down, or if you want more oblique work, you keep both hands lifted. Closing the eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And then just ease this lifted hand, this left hand, away from that long leg. Let it find the earth. And then just extend the opposite arm up and over your head, reaching for that opposite wall. If you notice my shoulder is not coming, my wrist is not directly underneath that shoulder, I always put it just about 2 or so inches out in front of that shoulder joint just to make my triceps have to work a little harder. If you're feeling okay here, you've got those toes tucked behind you, maybe this other foot lifts up off the earth, and you play with a kneeling half moon. As you start to feel more comfortable, your gaze can change. Floor, straight out, or maybe even up to the ceiling. Starting to lower that right leg back down. Hands start to walk themselves forward. Keep this right leg out to the side. And you're going to stick your left arm right underneath the shoulder of your right side. And get a little side body stretch again, along with a nice upper back, upper shoulder stretch for this left arm. Bringing hands back to the center of the mat. Take your time. Knees are going to come back underneath of you. Child's pose is available if you've got something kind of talking to you in your hips. Or you can just lift hands, come back into a kneeling, tall spine, resembling somewhat of a mountain pose. Releasing the attachment of what you think these shapes should look like, and just embracing what they are today. Hands moving back down to the earth if they've fallen away. Start to step the left foot out to the side this time. Remembering we want those toes in such a way that it feels okay to us. Hands start to move up towards the ceiling, reaching up, and then heading towards that extended leg. Of those of you that I can see at home, long extension through your arms looks gorgeous. Taking your time to really allow that side wall lots of attention today. Taking this hand that's in the sky, start to pivot, send it down towards the earth. Opposite leg stays long, hand lifts up, and then bicep to ear. Again, paying attention to the angle of this shoulder with wrist. Make sure this tricep, forearm, all is doing a little bit more work for us. Maybe you move into half moon, lifting this foot up off the floor, flexing the toes on that lifted leg. Arm can be tall, gaze can be down. Or out to the side. Maybe even up to the ceiling. Lots of concentration involved in holding these poses for extended periods of time. You guys have done glorious with that today. Wonderful job. Foot starts to move towards the earth. Hands start to walk back out in front of you. This time, taking the right arm, sliding it underneath. Maybe palm turns up. Knowing that if it's too much to have this leg out to the side, you could certainly just do this with arms. Probably should have told you that on the other side if you weren't feeling that shape. It's a pretty big one, a little bit unique. And then when you're ready, we're going to finish that one off. Hands come back to center. Leg comes back underneath of us. Let's go ahead and crawl so that we're back with the length of our mat. And take a downward facing dog. Hands shoulder distance apart. Toes curl under, hips lift up. Walk that dog. Maybe even turn it into 3 legs where you lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then maybe the left. One at a time, switching it out, testing the strength in the arms. And then giving ourselves a little reverse of what we've been used to today, walking the hands back towards your feet. Forward fold with the head hanging down towards earth. Shake it yes. Shake it no. All right, as you feel ready, we're going to plant the feet down into the earth, take a nice bend of the knees, and bring yourself into a squat. Of course, your knees can be straight up your mat. You might even round your arms around the edges of the knees. Or if more of a yogic squat is your style, you can walk the feet out a little further, maybe turn the knees to match the toes, hands might come into the heart, and embrace a full squat here. Also understanding that if squats don't work for you, you can always just move the seat down to the earth, hug around the knees, and get off of this squatted position. Hopefully you've got some happy hips and your squat feels okay today. Did a lot of side body opening, so oftentimes when we're open through the sides, our hips tend to be a little more happier at the end of the practice. All right, from here, shift some weight. So those of you who are still in squats, you're going to put some weight into your hands and then just kind of walk your knees back underneath of you. If you've been down on your seat, go ahead and see if you can match me. So I've put my feet in 2 straight lines down the mat, and then I'm going to see if I can bring my seat back to sit on my heels. Now, of course, if that does not work for you, you can reach for a blanket, you can reach for a pillow, you can give yourself something else to put in between the space of the heels and the seat. If that still doesn't work, you certainly can just be on high knees. But we're just trying to see if we can give the tops of our feet a little bit of therapy here. Our spine is often pretty tall. Maybe it even feels good to turn the palms so that they face up towards the ceiling and embrace a little bit of a modified hero seat. Of course, those of you who are more accustomed to a deeper version of hero, your feet can be slightly separated, your hips can come down, and your seat can go in between the outer edges of those heels, or the inner edges, excuse me, of those heels. Whatever version feels most appropriate. Some movement of the head, the neck might feel nice here. And then when you feel ready, we're just going to unfold from this. So by that, I just mean hands are probably going to come to the earth. You'll probably slide legs one way or another, and then bring them out from underneath of you. We're going to put ourselves at least 3/4 of the way down the mat, maybe even halfway. We're not going to do a lot with extended legs out in front of us. We're going to head back onto our backs. Now, the final poses that we do on our backs will lead us right into Savasana. So if there's other props you'd like to take with you, like a blanket or a pillow or blocks, a strap, anything like that, go ahead and reach for those things before you get cozy on the earth. Heading to your back, just take your time. We've done a lot of side body things, so it might feel nice to windshield wiper these knees right and left. And I'm gonna make room and space for a pigeon on your back here. So the next time our knees are back up towards center, those of you who've been windshield wipering with me, go ahead and pause that right at the center. Keep your right knee bent, right foot flat on the floor as you lift your left foot up towards the ceiling. It might feel nice to have it independent of any kind of grab from your hands, or it might feel nice to put just a little bit of tension behind the back of the thigh, or those with more flexibility, maybe hands are up closer to ankle or calf. But then this lifted leg that's up towards the sky, we'll go ahead and bend at that knee, bringing the ankle over and letting it rest on the opposite knee. A little swaying here side to side might feel good, or for those of you who are used to this pose, you're probably already moving into its bigger version where the foot leaves the earth. Maybe one hand reaches through the middle of that opening you've created while the opposite hand goes around back. Letting your body start to feel softer here. A little less work. A little more attention. Creating ease. Letting go of the attachments we're holding on to, the images we have in our head of what a perfect practice feels and looks like. Today, just let it be what it is, a series of poses where you can connect with your breath and feel lighter, more at ease when the practice concludes. As the body feels ready, we'll start to switch other sides. So the right foot's going to take its time, it'll come back to earth. Left knee might do the same. Windshield wiper or knees to chest might make sense as a transitional movement. But whenever you feel ready, we'll move to the other side. Right leg lifting high, pointing and flexing the toes. Hands might grab on the back of the leg somewhere if that feels good. Head and neck are nice and relaxed, keeping our awareness to where our shoulders are, how our neck feels. And then if and when you feel ready, this foot that's in the air, take your time, bring it over to the opposite knee, open up that hip, rock and roll a little bit, right and left. Maybe the left foot leaves the floor if it hasn't already done so. Taking yourself to that same reclined pigeon shape here, where the eyes can be at ease or closed, where you can be present with only the breath, leaving and entering the body. Hopefully the mood of the music, whatever you've had playing in the background, is at a place where it's creating more peace and resolve in today's practice. If it's not, I invite you to just reach to turn down the volume. Maybe the only music you need guiding you through these final poses is the slow, steady sound of your breath. As this side starts to feel complete, take your time to move the left foot down to ground, maybe the right foot follows. If you have nearby props like a block or a blanket that you'd like to slide under your back, lift the hips. Maybe take some elevated legs towards the ceiling, feel free. For those of you who are in a space where you have the luxury of a nearby wall or a couch or a chair, feel free to spin your body ever so slightly, whatever might be nearby, to extend the legs up onto an elevated surface, giving yourself that inversion that might feel really nice to start to close out today's practice. Of course, if you don't have the space to do legs up the wall, chair, couch, or maybe that's just not the pose you want in this moment, that's okay too. Use this as an opportunity to move in ways that your body feels comfort and ease. Maybe a couple more poses feels good to you, where others might be already looking for Savasana. Finding that final pose that's going to allow their bodies to feel most at ease, most rest, most rejuvenation, rebirth, restore, whatever word resonates with you, as you invite in peace on each inhale and release on each exhale. Staying in that inverted shape as long as the body may need. Or starting to walk the feet back down, maybe rolling to one side or the other to adjust yourself in whatever way you'd like to start to finish out today's practice. These final quiet moments are set aside for you to find a chance to let everything sift and settle back into place. So if you're reaching for props right now, maybe something to put under the head or something to put under the knees, go for it. If you'd rather just move minimally, you're pretty relaxed and you want to just get yourself into something that looks very traditional, that works too. But take on whatever final pose is going to allow you to release all sections of the spine. Connect with the breath and let go of all attachments we have to this final pose. Oftentimes we lay here with a mental dialogue of telling ourselves we're not doing it right when our mind continues to swirl with thought. Let go of the attachment, of the idea that your mind is supposed to be completely blank. That's a very difficult and sometimes unattainable goal for ourselves. Just focus on the little victories you have in those quiet moments where it really is just about your breath. And then if another thought comes in, it's okay. Acknowledge it, observe it, and then use the next natural exhale to release it. Come back to focusing on maybe counting the inhale breath up to 3 or 4, or assigning the inhale and exhale a particular word, peace, release, whatever resonates with you. This final rest is intended for us to let it go, release, let things settle back into place. Staying in this shape for a few more moments, allowing the breath to send whatever distracting thoughts come in out with the next easy exhale. Almost as if the breath is the anchor holding you in this space. And each exhale just pushes whatever we don't need back out to sea. Allowing yourself to stay peacefully in this space for a few more moments. When it's time to conclude class, I'll pull you back, talk you through the closure of this time together. Slowly starting to become aware of your breath. Allowing gradual inhales, gradual exhales to deepen slowly as we bring ourselves back to a little bit more awareness of this particular moment. An easy wiggling of the fingers and toes, the head from side to side. If you've been in a traditional savasana, perhaps your knees start to bend, hugging knees in towards chest and rocking a little bit side to side. Before ultimately finding yourself rested on your right side, using the arm as a pillow. Taking our time, the hands will move to ground as we start to push up towards a seated posture. Perhaps playing again with that same sensation you felt earlier with palm to palm rested at the heart. Inhaling to reach the hands up over the head, allowing those palms to stay connected. And then just exhaling, bringing them back down into the heart center. Closing the eyes, we'll close today's class with one more connection to our final reading. Attachment is what arises in us when we don't get our preference. We all have preferences: blue shirt over red, tea over coffee, yoga over wrestling. Preferences do not limit our life. What limits us is the feeling that arises when we don't get our way. This feeling is attachment, which constricts enjoyment. Today, when the feeling of attachment arises, notice it and consciously let it go. What happened? I greatly appreciate you taking this time for yourself.
not only for your physical body to move alongside me, but just giving yourself those quiet moments here and there to let the mind find space to sit as well. May you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again. Namaste.